Edith, 67 from Florida, thought her morning leg aches were just a part of getting older. I'd sit down for breakfast, and an hour later my calves would start aching, like something was pulling from deep inside, she said. She tried new shoes, skipped her walks, even took pain relievers, but nothing worked. Until one day her doctor asked a simple question: "What do you eat for breakfast?" It sounds strange. How could breakfast possibly be linked to leg pain? But the truth is, there's a quiet connection between what you put on your plate and the discomfort in your legs, especially after 60. If you start your morning with toast, cereal, or orange juice, and later feel soreness, swelling, or stiffness in your legs, you might be unknowingly triggering a cascade of inflammation and poor circulation with your very first meal. In today's video, we're uncovering 3 common breakfast foods doctors warn can trigger leg pain after 60. And here's the surprising part. One of them is probably in your kitchen right now. The good news: just a few small changes in your breakfast routine can make a noticeable difference in how your legs feel throughout the day. The connection between what we eat for breakfast and leg pain might seem strange at first. After all, how could your morning toast possibly affect the comfort of your knees or ankles? But here's what medical experts have discovered. There's actually a direct pathway from your plate to your legs, and it's something many of us over 60 never consider. Let me ask you this. Have you noticed that some days your legs feel more achy than others? Maybe you've attributed it to the weather, or perhaps to yesterday's gardening, or that extra loop around the neighborhood. Those could certainly be factors. But more and more evidence suggests that inflammation triggered by certain foods might be the real culprit behind those mysterious aches and pains. When we talk about inflammation, I'm not referring to the visible kind, like when you bump your knee and it swells up. I'm talking about internal systemic inflammation that occurs throughout your body at the cellular level. This type of inflammation doesn't announce itself with redness or swelling you can see. Instead, it often manifests as pain, stiffness, or discomfort, particularly in areas that already have some vulnerability, like our legs. You see, after age 60, our bodies become more sensitive to inflammatory triggers. The digestive system changes, and our metabolism doesn't process certain foods as efficiently as it once did. At the same time, our joints, muscles, and blood vessels have experienced decades of use. They've served us well, but they may have developed some wear and tear along the way. Now, here's where breakfast comes into the picture. The morning meal is especially important because it breaks our overnight fast. What we choose to eat first thing sets the tone for our body's inflammatory response throughout the day. Certain breakfast foods can trigger a cascade of inflammation that travels through your bloodstream, potentially settling in your legs and causing that familiar discomfort. But why the legs specifically? Well, our legs bear most of our body weight. They're working constantly as we move through our day. The joints, muscles, and blood vessels in our legs are under more strain than most other parts of our body. So when inflammation increases, these already taxed areas often feel it first and worst. There's something else happening too. As we age, circulation can become less efficient, especially in the legs where blood has to work against gravity to return to the heart. When certain inflammatory foods are introduced, they can cause blood vessels to constrict slightly and promote fluid retention. This creates a double challenge for our legs: increased inflammation combined with reduced circulation. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I've been eating the same breakfast for years. Could it really be causing problems now? The answer might surprise you. Our bodies change over time, And foods that never bothered us in our 40s or 50s might suddenly become problematic in our 60s, 70s, and beyond. So what exactly are these troublesome breakfast foods? In just a moment, I'll reveal the 3 most common breakfast culprits that doctors have identified as potential triggers for leg pain after 60. One of them is probably part of your morning routine right now, and I can almost guarantee it will surprise you. But first, let's understand exactly what happens in your body when these foods make their way from your breakfast table to your unsuspecting legs. Let's get to the heart of the matter. Those 3 breakfast foods that medical experts are now linking to increased leg discomfort in adults over 60. These might be items you've enjoyed your entire life without a second thought. But as our bodies change, so does their response to certain foods. Understanding these culprits and their effects on your legs could be the key to waking up with more comfort tomorrow morning. The first breakfast culprit might be sitting in your pantry right now. Processed sugary cereals and pastries. Think about that colorful cereal box that promises to be part of your complete breakfast. Or those convenient toaster pastries that make mornings so simple. Maybe it's the Danish or donut you occasionally treat yourself to with your morning coffee. These foods share a common trait. They cause rapid spikes in blood sugar that trigger inflammation throughout your body. Here's what happens. When you consume these highly processed carbohydrates, they quickly break down into sugar in your bloodstream. Your pancreas responds by pumping out insulin to manage this sugar rush. This rapid rise and fall of blood sugar creates a perfect storm for inflammation. For many of us over 60, this inflammatory response targets vulnerable areas, particularly the joints, muscles, and blood vessels in our legs. A fascinating study from the Arthritis Foundation found that participants who reduced their intake of refined sugars reported a 30% decrease in pain symptoms within just 3 weeks. That's because these sugar spikes don't just cause temporary inflammation. They can actually make your body more sensitive to pain over time. Those sugar-laden breakfast foods might be making your legs more reactive to discomfort throughout the entire day. Let me share something from my own experience. I used to enjoy a certain toaster pastry every morning until I noticed a pattern of increasing stiffness in my knees about an hour afterward. It wasn't until I connected the dots between my breakfast choice and that discomfort that I realized what was happening. The second breakfast culprit might surprise you even more. Certain morning beverages, particularly sweetened coffee drinks, and some acidic juices. That caramel-flavored coffee with whipped cream might be a delicious way to start your day, but it delivers a double punch to your legs. The combination of caffeine and added sugars can restrict blood vessels and trigger inflammation simultaneously. But even your seemingly healthy morning orange juice might be problematic. Highly acidic juices can increase the acid load in your body, creating what some health experts call low-grade metabolic acidosis. Your body neutralizes this acidity by pulling minerals like calcium from your bones and tissues, which can increase inflammation around joints. For people over 60 who may already be dealing with reduced bone density, this creates the perfect condition for increased leg discomfort. What's particularly troubling about these beverages is their deceptive nature. That glass of juice seems like a healthy choice. It comes from fruit, after all. But the processing often strips away fiber while concentrating sugars and acids. One 8-ounce glass of commercial orange juice can contain the sugar equivalent of multiple oranges without the beneficial fiber that would normally slow sugar absorption in your bloodstream. There's something else about these beverages worth noting. They can be dehydrating. Both caffeinated drinks and acidic juices can reduce your body's fluid balance, potentially worsening circulation problems in your legs. When circulation slows, waste products and inflammatory compounds linger longer in your leg tissues, potentially increasing discomfort. Now for our third breakfast culprit, processed breakfast meats like bacon, sausage, and ham. These popular breakfast staples contain a powerful trio of inflammation triggers, sodium, nitrates, and saturated fats, that can be particularly problematic for leg health after 60. Let's break this down. The high sodium content in these meats promotes water retention, which can increase pressure in the blood vessels of your legs and exacerbate swelling and discomfort. If you've ever noticed that your ankles or calves seem more swollen after a salty meal, this is exactly why. Then there are the preservatives, particularly nitrates and nitrites, that are added to many breakfast meats. These compounds have been shown to trigger inflammatory responses in sensitive individuals. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that regular consumption of processed meats was associated with higher levels of inflammatory markers in the bloodstream. The same markers linked to increased joint and muscle pain. Finally, the saturated fats in these meats can promote inflammation through multiple pathways in your body. They don't just affect your heart health. They can also increase the production of inflammatory compounds that target your joints and muscles. This effect seems to become more pronounced after age 60, when our bodies become less efficient at processing these fats. I remember talking with Martha, a viewer who wrote to me about her experience. She had enjoyed bacon with her eggs every morning for decades. After turning 65, she began experiencing increasing leg pain and stiffness that was particularly bad in the mornings. Her doctor suggested eliminating processed meats from her breakfast as an experiment. Within 2 weeks, she noticed significantly less pain and swelling in her legs. "I never would have connected my beloved bacon to my leg pain," she told me, "but the difference has been remarkable." What makes these 3 breakfast culprits, sugary cereals and pastries, inflammatory beverages, and processed meats, particularly troublesome is that they often appear together in what we consider a traditional breakfast. Think about a typical breakfast plate: sweetened cereal with juice, or bacon and sausage with toast and coffee. When these inflammatory foods combine, their effects can multiply, creating the perfect storm for leg discomfort later in the day. But before you start feeling discouraged about your breakfast options, I want you to know that there's some very good news ahead. In our next section, I'll share delicious, satisfying alternatives for each of these problem foods, options that not only won't trigger leg pain, but might actually help reduce inflammation and improve your comfort throughout the day. And the best part? These alternatives are just as convenient and even more flavorful than the foods they're replacing. Now for the part you've been waiting for: how to transform your breakfast into a delicious meal that supports leg comfort rather than triggering pain. The good news is that creating an anti-inflammatory breakfast doesn't mean sacrificing taste, convenience, or satisfaction. In fact, many people find these alternatives even more enjoyable than their former breakfast choices. Let's start by rebuilding your breakfast plate with alternatives to those sugary cereals and pastries. Instead of reaching for processed, sugar-laden options, consider whole grain alternatives that release energy slowly without spiking your blood sugar. Old-fashioned oatmeal is an excellent foundation for a leg-friendly breakfast. Unlike instant varieties that are often pre-sweetened, traditional oats contain soluble fiber that helps moderate blood sugar and reduce inflammation. You can make oatmeal more enticing by adding natural anti-inflammatory ingredients. A sprinkle of cinnamon not only adds warmth and flavor, but also helps regulate blood sugar. Fresh berries provide natural sweetness, along with powerful antioxidants that fight inflammation. Walnuts or ground flax seeds add omega-3 fatty acids, which have been shown to reduce inflammatory markers in clinical studies. If you're not an oatmeal fan, consider whole grain toast topped with avocado and a sprinkle of turmeric. Avocados contain healthy monounsaturated fats that support joint health, while turmeric has potent anti-inflammatory properties. Many of my viewers over 60 report significant improvements in leg comfort after making this simple breakfast switch. Now, what about those morning beverages? Instead of sweetened coffee drinks or acidic juices, let's explore alternatives that can actually help reduce leg discomfort. If you enjoy coffee, try drinking it black or with just a splash of milk. Without the added sugars and flavored syrups, coffee actually contains antioxidants that can be beneficial when consumed in moderation. For juice lovers, consider switching to green tea, which contains compounds that actively fight inflammation. Or try what I call morning water plus. Water infused with anti-inflammatory additions like lemon, cucumber, or a few mint leaves. Staying well hydrated is crucial for reducing leg pain, as it helps flush inflammatory compounds from your tissues and supports healthy circulation. As for those processed breakfast meats, there are several satisfying alternatives that won't trigger leg pain. Eggs are an excellent protein source that contain lutein, which helps fight inflammation. Try them with avocado and a side of fresh tomatoes, which contain lycopene, another powerful anti-inflammatory compound. If you miss the savory satisfaction of breakfast meats, consider wild-caught salmon, which is rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Just a small portion with your breakfast can help reduce inflammatory markers throughout your body. Some of my viewers enjoy making a quick salmon spread for their whole grain toast by mixing canned wild salmon with a touch of olive oil and lemon. Plant-based proteins can also make a wonderful breakfast foundation. Greek yogurt topped with nuts and berries provides protein, calcium, and probiotics, which support gut health, an important factor in managing systemic inflammation. Or try a small portion of beans with your breakfast. They're rich in fiber and protein without the inflammatory effects of processed meats. The key to building your anti-inflammatory breakfast plate is balance. Include a source of lean protein, some healthy fat, and fiber-rich complex carbohydrates. This combination helps stabilize blood sugar and provides sustained energy without triggering inflammation that could settle in your legs. I understand that changing breakfast habits can be challenging, especially when you've enjoyed certain foods for decades. Start with small substitutions rather than a complete breakfast makeover. Perhaps begin by replacing just one inflammatory food with an anti-inflammatory alternative, and notice how your legs feel. Many people find that even minor changes can lead to noticeable improvements in comfort. Remember, these recommendations aren't about deprivation. They're about discovering new foods that support your body's changing needs. Many of my viewers report not only less leg pain, but also more energy, better digestion, and improved mood when they switch to these breakfast alternatives. Your morning meal should be something you look forward to. And now it can also be something that helps your legs feel their best throughout the day. While transforming your breakfast is a powerful step toward reducing leg pain, combining these dietary changes with a supportive morning routine can multiply the benefits. Let's explore some simple additions to your morning that can help keep leg discomfort at bay throughout the day. Begin with gentle movement before your feet even touch the floor. While still lying in bed, rotate your ankles in circles, first clockwise, then counterclockwise. Next, point and flex your feet several times. These simple exercises activate circulation in your legs, helping to flush out any inflammatory compounds that accumulated overnight. They also lubricate your joints, preparing them for the day ahead. Once you're up, consider a brief stretching routine focused on your legs. You don't need anything elaborate. Just 3 to 5 minutes of gentle stretching can make a remarkable difference. Try standing calf stretches by placing your hands against a wall and extending one leg behind you, heel down. A seated hamstring stretch can be done safely from a chair. Just extend one leg and gently reach toward your toes, keeping your back straight. Hydration is another crucial element of your morning routine. Try drinking a full glass of water before your breakfast or morning coffee. This simple habit supports healthy circulation and helps transport nutrients to your leg tissues while removing waste products that can contribute to inflammation. Temperature therapy can also be incredibly effective for morning leg discomfort. If your legs feel stiff and achy upon waking, a warm compress applied for 10 to 15 minutes can relax tight muscles and increase blood flow. For legs that feel hot or swollen, a cool compress might provide more relief by reducing inflammation. Some of my viewers keep a reusable hot-cold pack by their bedside, specifically for this purpose. Consider also what you're putting on your feet in the morning. Supportive slippers or house shoes can make a significant difference in leg comfort compared to walking barefoot on hard surfaces. Look for options with good arch support and cushioning. Your legs will thank you for this small investment. Finally, mind your posture during morning activities like brushing your teeth or preparing breakfast. Many of us unknowingly shift our weight unevenly, placing extra stress on one leg. Try to distribute your weight evenly and avoid standing in one position for too long. These complementary strategies, when combined with your new anti-inflammatory breakfast choices, create a comprehensive approach to leg comfort. Together, they address the root causes of discomfort while supporting your body's natural healing processes. The beauty of this approach is its simplicity. Each element takes just moments to implement, but can contribute to hours of increased comfort throughout your day. You now have the knowledge to transform your mornings and potentially free yourself from that mysterious leg pain. By replacing those 3 problematic breakfast foods with delicious alternatives and incorporating simple morning habits, you're taking control of your comfort and well-being. Remember, these changes don't need to happen all at once. Even small adjustments can lead to noticeable improvements. The path to more comfortable legs begins with your very next breakfast choice. If you found this information helpful, please like this video, subscribe for more wellness tips, and share your own journey in the comments below. Here's to your pain-free mornings ahead.